What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Outside Perspective. I'm your host, Adam Meredith. So glad you guys are joining me. This week, I am in sunny, well, really not so sunny California. I'm in LA this week, and it's not so sunny while I'm here. We got some sunshine peeking through, but beautiful Southern California. I'm in LA for the week. I'm connecting with so many amazing people while I'm out here, and man, it's been a fucking amazing time. Before I get to my guest, I want to first talk about my sponsor, Jumbo Superfoods. Are you guys having any sort of pain, any sort of issues sleeping? Are you having anxiety? Well, let me tell you about CBD, cannabidiol, one of the many compounds found in the cannabis plant. This particular compound has been shown to have a whole host of benefits. It's an adaptogen. It helps put the body in homeostasis. So go check out the full line of CBD products over at Jumbo Superfoods. You can go to jumbocbd.com. You can check out my favorite, the Muscle Bomb. They have a lip balm. They have gis. They have sprays. They have drops. They have it all. Go check them out. jumbocbd.com. You can use the code outside at checkout. You'll save 20% off your entire order. So, one more time, at checkout, save 20% off your entire order by using the code outside. And it's even more relevant this week to me anyway, because I'm in LA and I connected with my homie over at Jumbo Superfoods, Kyle. And go back to episode 6. I sat down with Kyle on that episode and we talked a lot about CBD and Jumbo Superfoods. It was really rad to connect with him while I was in LA. We did not do a podcast, but who knows, we might do one in the future. A couple housekeeping things. Let's get these out of the way. If you guys find value in these episodes, if you really enjoy these conversations, do me a favor. Go over and leave a rating, leave a review. If you're on Apple Podcasts, especially, leave a 5-star rating and review. That really helps out. If you're listening on another platform, like, comment, whatever it is that you need to do on there. All of these things really help. So thank you so much. And then also go check out my buddy Justin Bricker's podcast. It's called the Why Not Podcast with Justin Bricker. He's sitting down with some cool ass humans as well and having some awesome conversations. So go check them out. So, on this episode, I sit down with fellow Mace artist, fellow Mace coach, Jeffrey Ochs. Now, Jeff and I, we actually went through the beta, like the beta month of the Steel Mace Flow curriculum back in November of 2018. So we met through there. We've been interacting online, and I picked up Jeff from the airport. I got in on Wednesday. I believe Jeff got in. Jeff got in the next day on Thursday. So I picked him up. We spent the day together. We checked out some different places, just exploring LA, and it was just super cool, man. I felt like I just knew him from the get go, and we recorded this podcast towards the end of the day. It's kind of weird, after spending an entire day with somebody you've been talking the entire day to now go and record a podcast because some of it kind of felt. Like what do you talk about? Do we repeat all the same shit that we've been saying? But it was awesome, dude. He was staying in this cool ass like hostel, I guess if you will. And man, like the walls were fucking velvet. It had like this velvet um design on it, and it was just super cool, kind of old time 20s ish, if you will. It was a super rad ass space. I didn't get video, which if you're listening to this, it doesn't really matter to you anyway. Obviously, for the YouTube folks, it would be audio only. But man, this place was fucking cool. So I really enjoyed sitting down talking with Jeff and learning more about his story with the mace. It's not too often that you just meet somebody, you just connect with them, right off the go. So it was really cool. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Without any further ado, Check it out.
Aged a little bit more bluesy and chilled out, but early on in their career, they had a song called "A Shotgun Named Marcus," where the refrain is something like, "Yes, I'm a redneck samurai."
And they're, I'm sorry, tell me their name one more time.
Clutch.
Clutch
Yeah.
from the 90s.
Clutch.
I'm going to have to look them up.
They're still around. They just put out a new record that's pretty good.
Oh, it's so awesome when like bands stick around and they stick true to their sound. I mean, it's cool to evolve.
Yeah.
But like they don't, for lack of a better term, sell out.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
They've definitely not. I mean, they're not like a band of pretty boys. They're like a bunch of like gruff, normal-looking guys from Baltimore.
Baltimore. Do they have accents?
I mean, I've never talked to him, so I wouldn't know.
No,
he kind of sings with a little bit of a southern accent, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I find when most people sing, like singing is one of the therapies for speech impediments.
Yeah.
Because normally when people sing, this stuff goes away. I don't know what it does to like wire the brain. But I had a teacher. I think she was an English teacher, probably like sophomore year in high school. She actually played this old vinyl of when she was a little girl, and like she was reading, and she had this terrible stutter, and then they had her sing the same thing, and it was just beautifully perfect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder if it's because she's like tapping into more conscious control, or
Possibly, yeah. I don't know if it's just the octave of the volume that
Right.
we're using, or what it could be. So. It's interesting shit, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Ochs.
Jeffrey Ochs.
I said it right. Gosh, yes.
You got it right on the first time. A lot of people don't. I get Ochs a lot.
Okay.
Ochs is another common one.
I can see that.
But Ochs it is, like the tree.
I take pride in trying to get people's name correctly.
Yeah.
I used to work in a call center, and people would answer on the phone, and we had this automated dialing system on the way out. And people just pick up the phone. I take pride in like trying to get people's names right, or like the name of their address or whatever. Just like hard words. It's interesting shit, man. Just the sounds we make with our mouth.
Yep. And how different peoples will speak with different parts of their body.
Yeah.
Like some languages are very, very guttural. Like they're talking from their bellies.
Like Japan, like Japanese.
Yep.
Yeah. That's true. It's just interesting shit, man. People are weird. Humans are weird.
Yeah, and you and I are both Midwesterners, so we got that like a little bit of that nasally thing going on.
Yeah, yeah. I never really thought about it, but it's true. It's true. People. So for the listeners, we're out here in California. Beautiful, sunny. Or it's been partly cloudy, but it got sunny. L.A. And dude, we've just been hanging out all day. I feel like we probably have had a million conversations worth of podcasts today.
Oh yeah, we should have just like hit record from the get go.
Yeah, but it's been all fucking great conversation. So I guess maybe just a little backdrop for the listeners. Like we're out here for I'm out here for a number of reasons, but the main reason that brought us both out here is the Steel Mace Flow Workshop that Leo Savage and Serena Williams will be. This was Williams, right? Did I fuck that up?
That's a tennis player?
That's Serena. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Serena. If you hear this, Serena, I'm so sorry. Is it Serena Elizabeth? Is that? I don't know her last name.
That's what she goes by on the Facebook, and she's the Steel Mace Gypsy.
Steel Mace Gypsy. I just fucked that whole thing up.
I've seen her last name in print, but
I don't know if I've ever seen it. I just realized that as I was trying to say it.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, you can address that with her when you converse with her later this weekend. I don't want to.
Yeah. What is your last name? So we're out here for the Steel Mace Workshop. You're going to be leading that along with them. That's super exciting.
Yep.
And you are the Flow Master, right?
That's right. Flow Builder.
Flow Builder.
Well,
damn it.
It's been said Flow Builder, Flow Smith.
That's good too.
But really, what that means, as far as I'm concerned, is it means that within the group of certified Steel Mace Flow coaches, of which one you are as well.
Yeah.
I'm one of the guys that really champions what I like to think of as advanced basics, and I think as another jiu-jitsu guy, you'll understand exactly what I mean. I remember reading this in BJ Penn's book, one of my favorite all-time fighters, that you can do all the fancy, flashy jujitsu moves that you want, but it's, similar to what Bruce Lee said. You practice the same deadly armbar over and over, and you're going to have a wicked armbar. And it's about getting into the nuance of the technique, not just doing an armbar to be an armbar, but making sure that you've got your hips on the elbow, you're pointing the thumb up.
Yeah.
So I kind of take that advanced basics approach in what I like to do with my steel mace flow, especially in the content that I put out on Instagram and the stuff that I teach in my classes as well.
Yeah.
I love the really, really expressive flow. That's what drew me in. But as I've seen the movement grow, I've seen what I feel is a need to really instill these strong basics in people. So as they develop their advanced basics, they're more safely and freely able to express themselves.
Right, yeah, it's about creating that base structure, those lines before we actually start bending the lines. Let's actually create the lines and
Right.
set a foundation. And I mean, like you said, it's like you should be more worried about the man who practices one technique, 10,000 times as opposed to 10,000 techniques one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, dude, it's just nail down the basics,
Yep.
and then we can build from there. And the basics are what works
Yep.
always.
So I'm a very, a big champion at the beginner level, especially of just really pounding those basics. That being said, I'm glad you said bend the lines because, you know, I will bend the shit out of the lines. And I
Yeah.
encourage everyone to do that once they're at a place when they have the good structure and, have their mace legs underneath them,
Yeah,
so
you
to
have like
speak.
real strength.
Yep.
Like, and it's so important because it's so easy to get dogmatic and be like, I'm a victim of this. Like, this is good form. This is good posture. Like, you do it this way. And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that is true. Like, there is that length tension ratio, and like, you do want to, I mean, have things in proper alignment, if you will. But at the end of the day, like, it's okay to not always lift in those planes of motion, because life, we don't operate in that plane of motion
No.
in life, you know what I mean? And one of the things that really opened my eyes to that was gymnastic strength training, and like a Jeffrey curl, you know what I mean, where it's like you start with your neck, your upper vertebrae, and just slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time, reaching all the way down towards your toes with the bar, and then you come back up.
Yep.
And a lot of people, they'll put some heavy load on that once you build that capacity, but some people will tell you that's a good way to blow out your back.
It's a good way to blow out your back if you're not practicing a lot of spinal rolls before you do it.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have a protocol in place to support that type of training, then yeah, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah,
You
but
know what I mean?
it's the same thing. It's look at what the basic mechanic of the movement is, nail that down, and then apply complexity.
Right.
Apply load.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the body is fully capable if you do train it. So, dude, let's start at the beginning of your journey. What was your start into just health and fitness, and I mean martial arts? Like, where did it all begin for you, man?
My journey really began with like a lot of guys my age in my area is being about 8 years old, getting bullied at school. Had a kind of an unfortunate home situation as well at the time, and my dad took me to a local taekwondo school.
Yeah.
And so that's where it all started. That's where my love of martial arts began. That's where I awoke in my inner ninja, so to speak.
Yeah, watch the old movies like the Chuck Norris and
Oh,
Jean-Claude
yeah.
Van Damme
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
And it's like, I want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a child of the '80s, so I had like the Chuck Norris action figure. I mean,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had it like secondhand, but
Still, you had it.
but I had it. He didn't have the nunchucks anymore, but he still had like the karate chop motion or something.
That's all Chuck Norris
Yeah,
needs.
yeah. And from there, I got like my first degree black belt when I was 14 or 15 in Choi Kwang Do. It evolved to in the time, or I moved to a different school, and from there, a lot of that really went on hold as I kind of finished up high school, was into cars and girls, and then went to college. And I was a runner through most of high school and college as well, but that was my primary means of fitness. And then
Yeah.
shortly after college, I wound up blowing out a knee like a lot of runners do. Had a couple surgeries, and it was really in the rehab for my knee surgeries when I was coming off of being on crutches for about 4 months that
Yeah.
I really fell in love with being in a gym. it was kind of weird that I had started getting so excited to go to physical therapy, and I hated my physical therapy too.
It's not fun.
It wasn't. They hook up electrodes to you, and they're basically just, it's like shock therapy for like an hour. But then once, I got out of that, and they started putting me on a leg press machine, and I always kind of laugh when I think about this because, the stereotypes that come with a leg press machine, loaded up with 500 pounds, and you're the strongest man in the world, right?
Yeah.
But I fell in love with starting to see that number go up, and from there, I started training at a martial arts school doing, I can't remember the name of it. It was a Quest Martial Arts. It was like a Americanized version of ninjutsu.
Okay.
Kind of watered down stuff, but it was part of the journey.
Yeah. Just
And
another step.
I started training with a guy there that I still train with to this day. I'm a trainer at his gym.
What's that gym called?
Functional Fitness.
Okay.
A2 Functional Fitness.
Nice.
A2 is local speak for Ann Arbor.
Okay.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
So that's the name of my coaching business is A2 Steel Fit. So
Yeah.
it's like Ann Arbor Steel Fit.
I can dig that.
But
I wondered what that was.
yep. So I didn't stick around at that school very long in a training capacity. I think I was there for a couple of years, mostly, teaching to little kids. I really enjoyed that. That's really probably the start of my coaching career, as it were.
Yeah.
But what happened there is just through being in the martial arts world, I found a local jiu-jitsu school.
Mm-hmm.
Game changer.
Yeah, dude, that's a whole can of worms that you opened up, dude, and it's easy to get sucked into that one.
Yep. And from jiu-jitsu, it was to kettlebells.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm off the leg press machine. I'm now messing around with kettlebells.
Yeah.
And from there, I got into a bit of powerlifting. Enjoyed a couple of years of that. Pulled some really big numbers. Got a little fat.
Mm-hmm.
And then saw this weird stick with a ball at the end of it. I discovered the steel mace. I mean, I didn't discover it personally. I didn't
But
unearth it.
In
but
your journey, it was discovered.
Yeah, in my journey on Instagram.
Yeah.
I saw this guy that we're going to hang out with this weekend, Leo Savage, swinging one of these things around. And it just reawoken. It was like the third reawakening of my inner ninja.
Yeah.
I saw that, and it was one of the first times I saw something that I knew I had to learn how to do.
Yeah. Dude, when he moves, it's just so beautiful. Whenever I would see it, and I'm just like, I can comprehend what he's doing, but for some reason I wasn't able to recreate it. So it was really nice to be in that program.
Yep.
And just have it really simply broken down. It's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Now it all makes sense.
Right.
But as I've trained with the steel mace, I got this feeling of like there's this beautiful dance inside of me that's just waiting to be expressed. And as I've been training with the mace, and I've had pretty regular daily, mace practice, I don't post as often as I probably could or should to help the community out with that. But it's just so fun to learn these movement patterns and to have that symmetry, because maybe I'm better with my right than my left, and just to build that journey and then to be able to express yourself even more through this tool.
Right.
It's so cool. Shit, man. So what was I gonna say to you? Coaching. So you started coaching little kids.
Yep.
That was in karate or taekwondo?
That was in the martial art was called Toshindo. I remember,
Toshindo.
which is the kind of derivative of like Japanese ninjutsu, like the traditional art of the ninja, they would say.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed when you coach kids, like that is, man, I feel like almost everybody should have to coach kids for just a little bit, because
Dude, for sure.
it's so, like, you really have to be able to simply verbalize things.
Yeah.
Has that helped you with your mace coaching?
Yeah, sometimes I don't think it's that different.
It's not.
The same cues that work for children work for adults.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be more specific with children. I mean, if you tell a child, no, okay, now get lower, squat, it doesn't
register.
No, they might just fall over.
Yeah, that's so true, man. Yeah, what kind of challenges have you faced kind of entering into this journey with the mace?
Well, it's not big in my area.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of mace swinging going on around southeastern Michigan. I'm based out of Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, which is not too far from Detroit, probably about a 25, 30-minute drive. but there's just not a ton of awareness to it.
Right.
I know a few guys, within about a couple hour radius of me, but a little too far to show up for a class.
Yeah,
So
you're like the only guy.
yeah, and yeah, so awareness I think is the biggest thing. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things I'm sure you've experienced. Anytime you put a mace in someone's hands, I mean, you give them a little bit of instruction on how to handle it,
Yeah.
and it's minds being blown and light bulbs going off, eyes getting wide. People get hooked to it really fast. So
Mm-hmm.
retention isn't super difficult.
No, it's such a fun tool.
Yeah, it's just generating the awareness because it's kind of it's still a newer thing. I mean, the steel mace has been around for a really really long time, and Serena knows a lot about that. I'm sure you guys can dive into the
Yeah.
history there, but as far as it being a training implement in the form that it is now, it's a pretty new thing.
Oh yeah, man. And being in the Midwest, not a lot of people know about it. We
Hmm.
tend to get things last.
Yeah.
Things kind of start on the coast and then migrate into the center.
Yep.
The flyover states, if you will. And dude, it's a really exciting opportunity, but I wonder how long it's going to take to maybe catch on or to build the community
Yeah.
within the region.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see it bloom a bit. I mean, I've got a couple of my students are starting to get out there a little bit more. I'll give a shout out to Matty P, who is, he's posting a lot, and he's someone I'd love to use him as an example when I talk about advanced basics.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you mean by that?
well, Matty P he'll flow, free flow, improv, and no amount of me telling him to work on the basics is going to make him stop. And
Yeah.
it shouldn't. That's not the goal there. But if you look at his flows from a year ago, 2 years ago to where he's at now, he's so much more crisp, so much more clean, and he picks things up a lot faster. He picks up the advanced movements a lot faster because he knows where to look for landmarks.
Yeah, that's so important. Um, when you start working with somebody, where do you like to start them at?
I like to give them a couple of movements. First getting the mace in their hands, telling them how to engage with it, and
Yeah.
keeping good posture is always one of the first things that you do.
Yeah.
But ultimately, people come in and they want to move with it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite intro movements is the switch squat.
Okay.
A lot of people I know like to start with the lap squat, which is basically the same thing but without the switch. I'll actually introduce people to the switch first, and then add the squat.
Yeah.
I think that just getting that immediate switching sides plus movement, if I only have a short period of time with somebody,
Yeah.
is going to grab them a little bit faster.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed taking people through all the landmarks.
Mhm.
It's like landmark 1,
Yep.
2, 3, rotated 1, 2, 3, right? And we have 4. And crossbody top, crossbody bottom. Teach them those positions, and then just working, and I'll call it out, and then they just go to it, right?
Yep.
And then you can immediately teach that into a prayer, into a switch,
Mhm.
and then we just go through these static positions, learning how to do it, and then you just smooth it out, and now
Yep.
you got to switch, and then that is really the basis for building flow, is being able to do a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty unique, or not unique, but it feels like a pretty solid process on teaching people.
Mhm.
But I mean, is that kind of been your experience as well, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and especially with beginners, you want their flows to, not everything's going to be 100% symmetrical. So I'm not necessarily buying into that, but I would say that you want things to be generally repeated on both sides,
Right.
especially at the beginner level. So in order to do that, they need to get the mace to the other side.
Yeah.
They got to have at least one switch in their arsenal to
Right.
do that.
Right. Yeah, man. And I like the idea that it doesn't have to be symmetrical.
Yeah.
I have this tendency to try to keep things even,
Yeah,
and it's okay not to be.
absolutely. And especially as you build flows with more movements in them,
Yeah.
and you get into a 10-minute groove with it,
Yeah.
you're going to skip a movement. You're going to
sure.
forget something. You'll start to enter a flow state. You'll kind of lose your sense of time and space a little bit, and you might miss something.
Yeah.
And are you going to beat yourself up about skipping a rep on one side?
No.
Nah.
No. Dude, I love the flow state.
Mm-hmm.
I just fucking love it when you get in that zone and like time doesn't exist, and just it's almost like you're out of body, like you're out of your own body.
Yeah.
And everything is just working.
Yep.
And there's no thought, and then like afterwards you just feel so good. It's like holy shit.
Yeah. One of the closest things I can liken it to is, and I have very little experience with it, but hot yoga.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I went through like a 2.5 hour hot yoga workshop, and after hour two, I was certainly tired. I was certainly fatigued,
Yeah.
but I was able to keep going, no problem. In fact, at the 2.5 hour mark when we stopped, I felt like I could keep going.
Yeah. That
I mean,
second wind.
yeah, yeah. Well, it never really even felt like the first one kind of died down.
Oh.
You just kind of got to a place where time didn't really mean anything. I kind of wasn't thinking in terms of time relative to fatigue.
Yeah.
You're just kind of going through something, and yeah, it was really close to a flow state. If it wasn't the same thing, it was really, really close.
No, it probably was. It's very interesting. I mean, I learned early on in actually high school wrestling that the body is far more capable of doing what the mind maybe won't believe it can. And I learned that on like a Sunday practice. It was one of the hardest practices. We had just had a tournament. We came in. Normally it's usually like a pretty light, like a light lift and maybe a light run. But in this day, our coach was not too happy. We had a very hard lift, very hard run, and then we proceeded to live wrestle for an hour. And he broke all of us. We're all crying, and it was super hard. And I can remember just thinking, like, there's no way I can do this.
Yeah.
But afterwards, he got us all ramped up, and then we were finally coming down, and he took us through a visualization exercise and had us wrestle like a perfect 6-minute match, and almost kind of a little bit of like a meditative practice there. And I just felt so energized and so good. And as in that moment, I realized, I'm like, man, the body is capable of so many things if the mind will allow it to do it.
Right.
You just have to get out of your own way. And it sounds like you tapped into something like that in that hot yoga.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, something I tap into fairly regularly with the steel mace as well.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, we've been talking today and stuff, and you're a pretty philosophical type of guy, and you seem like to, like you take lessons where they are. Like, what's been kind of some like your inspirations as far as like any books you like to read or any mentors that you've had that really left a mark on you?
Yeah, absolutely. The very recently, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. David Goggins.
Yeah, dude,
Can't hurt me.
He's a bad man.
I didn't read the book. I listened to it.
Yeah,
but
I have it on Audible.
it was the best audio book I've ever listened to. I didn't really know a lot about David Goggins before that. I'd heard his name thrown around, and I'd seen him on a podcast here or there, but I wasn't really a follower or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I am now, but there's something about that book that it was just inspiring.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it lit a fire under my ass within 2 minutes of firing it up.
Yeah.
I would be on my little elliptical in my basement, and 2 minutes in, and I mean, I'm pushing the hardest 15 minutes on an elliptical I ever have in my life.
Yeah.
As I'm listening to this guy talk about running 100 miles.
He's an intense dude, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And for the folks listening, I mean, David Goggins is, ex-special operations. He was a Navy SEAL, Green Beret, I think paratrooper as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now he runs ultra marathons, and I think he's actually going to be like a fire jumper, where like you jump out of planes and put out fires and shit. He's just always trying to do hard shit, but he's always talking about callousing the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I actually started running without music because of him, and I haven't went back.
Yeah, I did too, actually.
Yeah. So I know you're a runner, dude. I mean, I've been following you on Instagram and shit, and you've been going on some pretty long runs.
I did on New Year's Eve. I ran my first half marathon, just kind of on a whim. I just woke up that morning with this little thought in my head that I'm gonna go run 13.2 miles today, or 13.1 miles. I think I did 13.2 because I wasn't sure. And it wasn't an official race, but it was an awful snowy, rainy, sleety day in Michigan, and I went to a local park, and before I went out, I even remember saying to my wife, "I'm gonna go out, and I think I'm gonna do a 10K today, but I might do a little bit more. I'm not really sure."
Yeah.
But even as I was saying that, I knew I wanted to do a half. I just was kind of afraid to say it.
Oh, a little commitment issue
Yeah,
there.
yeah, there was definitely a commitment issue there. There was also a little bit of fear, like, of if I said it, what happens if I can't do it?
Then you feel like a failure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started running, I started thinking about David Goggins, and I started thinking about that voice in my head that was making me not say it out loud.
Yeah.
And so I think I was at about mile 2, and I was like, I'm going to do at least 11 more miles. I had to say it out loud.
Hell
And
yeah.
as soon as I said it out loud, it was like, I knew I was in for it.
Yeah.
7 miles in, I really was reconsidering.
Dude. Yeah.
I mean, I have been out of super long distance running shape for many years. I mean, I think I'm in pretty good condition, and I think it's a really good testament to my training that I could go out there and put myself through it. I actually felt great.
Yeah.
And I felt great in the days afterwards, a little bit sore, but I could get through it. It was mostly the mental game.
Yeah.
It really was tough when one of my toes started going a little bit numb. I did a really good job of keeping my feet dry given the conditions, but at about mile 8, I hit a pothole and a
Oh,
puddle,
wow.
and I mean my foot was soaked through and cold, and there were many times over that I thought about stopping.
Yeah.
The way the park was set up is I was kind of looping around, and there were many opportunities to just go back to my car.
Yeah.
So definitely the mental game was the toughest part, and I would say inspiration from someone like David Goggins was part of what got me through that,
Yeah.
and also got me to commit to doing it.
Yeah. Do you so in those moments of like where it's very trying, do you like repeat any sort of mantra to yourself, or how do you like to push through that moment?
Yeah, these days I have a lot of mantras that I refer to, and they might not be what you think. When I would say in the past when I was in one of those moments, I might get a little bit of the "come on, you little bitch," just push through it, you pussy, you
Oh
can do
yeah,
this,
dude.
but these days, the mantras that I say to myself when I'm in those, they're a little bit more like freeing. In fact, one of my mantras is "I am free."
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I am free from fear. I am free from fear of failure. I'm just giving myself permission to be free of a fear of failure or fear of success.
Yeah, you're
Fear.
removing limitations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
I used to run a lot for I'd be training for fighting, and I'd always tell myself over and over, fresh legs, fresh lungs.
Yeah.
Fresh legs, fresh lungs.
Yep.
I would just keep repeating that. I'm like, I don't want to get tired in the 5th round. Fresh legs, fresh lungs. Just keep fucking going.
Yep.
Try to go just a nice, slow fucking just jog and just keep my heart rate down and just go really long.
Yep.
Yeah, and just push through that suck.
Yep.
Embrace it.
And I tell myself too, like, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
Like I might be at what I think is my peak pace, and one part of your brain is telling you is like you might want to ease off the gas a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'll just say to myself, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
I even I did a little like local park run that wasn't a race. It's a timed 5K.
Okay.
They do it every Saturday morning, a couple miles from my house, and you can just go run a 5K in a not race environment and get a time. Of course, I got fired up that morning, so I ran it like a race.
Yeah.
And I mean, every time I passed someone, I was thinking, I'm stealing their soul.
Yeah. Snatching souls.
Yep. But there was one part I actually was running. I was lapping a group of people that were more just doing it for the the social hour aspect, and probably maybe in this case the more healthy aspect. But
Yeah.
as I passed them, I was in this mode to myself, and I blurted out loud, I could do this all day.
Yeah.
I was just saying it to myself to try to encourage me, but to them it looked like this crazy person
Yeah,
going
they're
by
just
them.
this fucking asshole.
Yeah, right.
Dick. It's for charity.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so funny, dude. Are you familiar with Jocko Willink?
I've heard the name. I'm not super familiar.
Okay, he's just he's a Navy SEAL, and he's been on Rogan a few times.
Okay.
And he's just kind of all about that, just do the work and just get it done, and just discipline equals freedom.
Yep.
Just having that structure ultimately will free you from the day-to-day grind or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And I like the saying that he has. He'll just say good. And there's a great video of it where it's just like he's explaining, like it doesn't matter what happens, even like the worst situations. He'll be like, good, It's like didn't get the job, good, more time to get better.
Hmm.
Mission got canceled, good, more time to get your gear ready, or
Right.
just no matter what the situation, good or bad, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can really appreciate just that stoic. Just let's just get shit done.
Yep, yep. And as a fighter, I mean, there's lots of opportunities for that sort of good mentality. Like, imagine a situation. I don't know. Did you ever encourage or encounter like an opponent failing to make weight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I always just take some of their money.
Yeah. So you go through your weight cut. You put in all the effort, and they may have slipped up. Maybe they didn't try hard.
Yeah,
Maybe they had a shitty cut. Um, And I know my friends who are fighters, that's incredibly discouraging for them. Sometimes they get a fight canceled,
yeah,
or maybe they don't get as much of the purse from their opponent as they should. But that's a great opportunity for that kind of moment to be like, good,
good.
because you either got practice getting a good weight cut, or you got more money.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's usually both, and I usually just looked at it as like that just shows how unprepared they are.
Yeah,
It's like they're gonna feel like shit tomorrow because they probably most oftentimes they tried really hard and then they were just too weak to actually get it done.
right.
So they're probably really fucked tomorrow, and they're gonna be gassed, and I'm just gonna trash their ass because of it.
Yep.
So I usually think of it that too. One time I had, and this was an amateur fight. I weighed in, showed up. The guy I was supposed to fight weighed in, talking shit. Didn't even come to the fight the next day. What the fuck is this,
Wow.
dude? You're talking shit like you're gonna fight me, and then you don't even show up when you
Wow.
can. Yeah, so punk ass people.
I did that to somebody once when I was a kid, though.
Well, how old? You say
Um,
kid.
I think I was
Kid is relative.
35.
Oh, okay.
No, no. No, I was probably like 8, maybe 9. In a little bit of a bully situation at school, and I don't think I.
That's different.
Yeah, and we had it set up. We were gonna meet at the park to throw down,
Oh, yeah.
and I went to the park, but I left.
Dude, fighting's not fun.
Yeah,
It's not. It's not even like the type of fighting I did wasn't even natural.
yeah,
You're gonna sign on this dotted line, and in 2 or 3 months, I'm gonna fight this person, and everything's gonna be arranged, and
hmm
it's not natural. It's very nerve wracking.
No, no. It's. I've never been in a professional fight. I've been in a few amateur, street fights, and
Yeah.
nothing about it is fun.
No.
Even if you win, you even as a winner, you're not really a winner because what did you do? You beat the crap out of somebody on the street. You probably look like an asshole to their friends, or
Yeah.
yeah. There's never really a winner there.
No, dude. I had this situation. I think I was coming back from Austin from the steel mace workshop, and it was probably like 11:30. It's me and my brothers. We got into St. Louis, and we caught an Uber. And dude, the moment the Uber guy even got us, like I just knew it wasn't gonna be a good ride. Like
Oh
he
no.
just bad energy.
Yeah.
Didn't even like get out or fucking and greet us or pop his trunk or fucking anything. And like I'm trying to tell this guy, like, hey dude, you're going the wrong way. Tell him 3 times. And then he like talked to me like I was a child and like snapped on me. So I just stopped because in that moment, like I'm tired. I want to smack the shit out of this
Yeah.
guy, and we're gonna have a fucking altercation. We finally get to my place, and he had went the fucking long way to get there, and he tried to make this smart ass comment, like maybe he just thought that we were from out of town and he could just fucking
Right.
play us. And I was like. He said there's more than one way to get to St. Louis. I go, yeah, but they don't all take twice as fucking long. And then and I shouldn't have maybe said that, but I got out and I closed the door, and he says I slammed it. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't think I fucking did.
Right.
But he gets out and he proceeds to try to fucking fight me at midnight in front of my house with me and my 2 brothers. And I'm just like, dude, you do not want these fucking problems, dude. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't know who the fuck I am. And this
Right.
this dude's probably, I would guess he's in his 50s. Like, not a young dude. But then he implied that maybe he had like a weapon on him or something, which either case, like my brother's like in like ex-military and he's like standing right next to him. There's no way he would have been able to pull it off.
Right.
But it just made me think, like, I can't believe, like, well, one, I had a moment, I had to sit there and decide, like, this isn't even worth it. Like,
Right.
afterwards, like, your ego feels a little bruised, and it's like, man, fuck that guy. I should have did something there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why? But in the moment, I'm like, this isn't even worth it. Like, what could possibly be good from this situation?
Yeah.
And in the long run, I'm just much happier that I was able just to diffuse the situation and walk away.
Yep.
But I was just so taken back by this guy, like, trying to fucking fight me and like at midnight. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have the best energy either, and it was just a bad
Yeah.
vibe all the way around.
Yep.
And I'll take some part in that, but you don't know who the fuck you're stepping up to, dude.
Yeah.
Like he literally stepped up to a trained fucking fighter.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and I know I don't like look super tough or anything like that. Like that's not my aura. So it's like, dude, it just blew me away in that moment. But
Yeah.
you said that made me think of like you have a choice,
Yep.
and you can totally make the right one if you choose to.
Kind of makes you wonder too where where that guy's head was at. Like what's his end game? What does someone in that situation, let's pretend he was packing. He had a weapon on
Yeah.
him. Is he looking for an opportunity to use it?
Yeah, maybe.
Is he
And
is he trying to goad you into actually making an attack? Like you just wonder what the end game is when the cat goes after the alligator sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, and you don't know. And then also, I try to keep in perspective, like, dude, maybe he has had a shitty day too.
Yeah.
It's late. Obviously, I had the long travel day. I'm tired, and I'm pissed because I tried to give this guy clear directions, and,
Right.
and he was just super. It was. I almost have to credit, and I shouldn't respond the way I feel like I did. I had a choice to respond the way I did, but he gave us bad energy from the get-go. I didn't,
Yep.
I didn't like that at all. He was just very disrespectful. And then I tried to tell him, like, you're going the wrong way a couple times, and then he, like, bit my head off like I'm a fucking
Yeah.
kid. Like, I said this would be fine. Like, I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to, dude, but I'm a
Right.
grown-ass man. You don't talk to me that way.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think that's okay.
Well, I mean, it's like you said, there was bad energy from the get-go.
Yeah.
And let's look at another situation like the one we've been in today, for instance. I think both of us are a little travel weary. I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. I intentionally didn't sleep well because I wanted to sleep on a plane that didn't really work out that
Yeah,
way.
it's so tough.
I know you're pretty tired today, but nonetheless, I mean, we met with great energy.
Yeah.
We probably went the wrong way about 15 times today.
Yeah.
But every single time it was like, well, all right, cool.
Cool, dude.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Exactly, man. It's just been an adventure. Like, what's
Yeah.
next, dude? Like,
Yeah.
what's around this corner? Let's explore. Let's see it. Like, I don't get to look at this back at home.
Yeah,
It's so easy to take for granted, and it's a fucking jungle out there, dude.
it is. But, we were talking about and you educated me a little bit on the law of attraction. And, good energy is met with good energy. And
Yeah.
everywhere we've gone today, every little turn we've taken has been, another little positive bit of energy. If we wound up in the car a little bit longer, well, we were gabbing the whole time, and it was
Yeah.
good conversations.
Yeah, dude. It's been all positive, 100%. So I think I maybe skipped over it. I want to go back a little bit. So when you started training the mace, I know you said you first discovered it. I imagine through like Instagram.
Yeah,
Or
actually, that was where I really got really into it. I did discover it a little bit earlier when my jujitsu instructor made a wholesale account with on it. And,
Okay.
was doing
this is your first jujitsu school, or this
the 10th Planet
the
Jiu-Jitsu
10th
School.
planet? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Which I think is actually my third or fourth. We'll call it the fourth, just in case. The fourth is the 10th Planet.
Okay. You're a gym hopper.
Yeah, what they've got a word for that in jiu-jitsu.
What is it?
I don't remember, but it's a Portuguese word. I think it means like traitor because they get really upset when people go to different gyms. But
Yeah, it's like a gang mentality.
yeah, but there was some other reasons for my moving around that didn't involve me being a traitor.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you, bro.
I digress in defensive ways. Yeah. So anyway, I just kind of on the lark said, why don't you grab me a 20-pound mace? I swing. I'm thinking I can snatch a 60-pound kettlebell, 20-pound mace.
Shit.
Whatever. It's like basically I wanted to get one of the heaviest ones they had, which I think at the time they were up to 25. But I thought, well, they probably only go up to 25 for a reason, so I'll get a 20.
Yeah.
Guys, anyone listening, that's a big mistake. That's your ego talking.
That's all ego.
Buy a 10.
10 for
Start
sure.
with a 10-pound mace. Everyone start with a 10-pound mace. I don't care if you are deadlifting in the 600s, bench pressing in the 3s, squatting in the 4s. Start with a 10-pound mace.
It's a different type of load.
Yep. So anyway, on this order, I just got a 20-pound mace and got it, and needless to say, didn't really know what to do with it. Everything that I did with it was, by my current standards, horrible mechanically speaking. And didn't really do a lot with it because I didn't know what to do. It was too heavy.
Yeah.
Eventually, I saw. I think it was probably a couple months after that I saw Leo, and then I realized that's not a 20-pound mace he's swinging around like that. You know, he does some really impressive stuff with the quad mace, and he can work heavy. But everything I was seeing that was really grabbing me was all with a 10-pound mace.
Yeah.
So I got one of those, and then that really opened the world up.
Okay. So then, as far as like beginning your practice, was it just kind of mimicking what you saw online? Did you go to YouTube? And,
Yeah.
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 Leo had a really good library on YouTube. I mean, he took it down so he could start selling it.
Yeah, well,
Which is smart. That's what I
he
would do
should.
too. I mean, you built enough value, and
Yep.
then now you start charging for it.
Yeah, and when I first started, if there was the resources to pay someone online, I would have.
Yeah.
I was looking everywhere for it. You know, On It had a few videos, and they were helpful, but they were not really detailed in their instruction. It was more just, here, watch this movement.
Yeah.
And then Leo was one of the first that I knew of that actually put up, you know, intentionally educational material online through a Patreon account. And I joined up pretty early on when he first launched his original Mace movement.
Yeah.
And that's when I really started making sense of it.
Yeah.
And then in April of 2017, I went to the On It Academy, and that's when I got my Steel Mace specialist certification.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and Leo's videos have just gotten more and more detailed and gotten better. So, I mean, he's replaced all those old ones with better instructional videos.
Yep.
So, was this 2016 that you started with the Mace, or was it the very beginning of 2017, and then you quickly got into a cert class?
No, I had a Mace for almost a year before I went to the certification. So I think I got it in probably around April of 2016.
Oh, so you're coming up on the 3-year anniversary on your practice, dude.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I started in April of last year, so I'm coming up on a year. So you're 2 years my senior in this game.
That must be why I got all the gray hair and the beard.
Oh, that's why you're the badass. That's why you're the mace builder. Or the flow builder.
Flow builder.
Damn it, dude, my words just aren't working right now. Some of it could be because where we are.
Yeah, it's where we are, you know, in many planes. You know, it's where we are geographically. It's where we're at, you know, energetically and spiritually.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's okay.
yeah.
That is okay. Yeah, man, I kind of a similar journey. Just I just discovered it through On It. And just, you know, being on social and kind of seeing the tool. I knew the tool, and then I discovered ESIC, and then and then I discovered Leo, and then I was just like, I really love this flow thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a fun way to move.
Yep.
And I was speaking with a buddy yesterday, Kyle, and essentially, and it just depends on what tool you put in your hand, but I mean, whatever title you want to put on the movement, at the end of the day, it's all just movement a lot of the times. And for me, my first movement language was wrestling.
Yeah.
So I often relate things to that. It's like, all right, well, that's just a sit out, and like that's a hip heist, and that's a turn in, and like I just equate everything back to that. Like, I don't care what the fuck you call it. I'll just right back that's my base.
Right.
So it's just so interesting how you can, I mean, it's just all movement at the end of the day.
Yeah, and now you're going to start to see a lot of level changes too.
Yeah, I see a lot of level changes. Yeah, dude. I mean,
people are hitting the ground with this thing.
Yeah. Did you wrestle at all?
No, never officially.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up in a town where, you know, if you were a boy, you wrestled, whether it was because you wanted to or.
It's just what everybody did.
Yeah.
Did you play hockey or anything growing up?
No. I mean, my violent sports stopped at the Taekwondo.
Okay.
And I was primarily a runner. Because I was a pretty small guy, and like I said, you know, some of the bullying I dealt with, it was just good to be able to run away. You know?
Yeah. Shit, dude. So you're a little guy growing up then, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Usually you typically see. You just usually develop like a certain type of frame depending on what sport that you're doing, right? And I mean, running usually obviously lends itself to like a leaner frame, and
yeah.
Have you noticed like a size difference that you've put on? I mean, I immediately noticed a strength difference, but have you also noticed like a size difference since you've been training with some of these tools, or?
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, I'm probably on like my fourth body type right now.
Okay.
When I was
Morphine.
when I was a runner through high school and college, I probably weighed about 150 to 160.
Okay.
When I was getting into powerlifting and such, I got up to like 210.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at about 175 now.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier I got a little fat.
Yeah.
I think I definitely delved into dirty gains.
It's easy to do, man,
Yeah.
but it fucking it gets addictive. Like,
Yep.
yeah, fucking the numbers are going up, and I'm looking
Oh,
big,
yeah.
but
Yep.
like you don't necessarily feel your best.
No.
You don't move
In
your
fact, you
best.
spend most of your time hurting.
Yeah, dude, it's so true.
And maybe that's because I wasn't training smart. The guy I was working with did a great job, but most of the work I did was on my own, and I
Yeah.
probably wasn't training the smartest to be a power lifter, but I certainly had a great time, and I was getting, at least what I felt were for my frame were pretty good numbers. So.
Yeah. Dude, what was your diet like during that time? What were you eating? Just everything?
Oh
Or?
yeah, pizza, whiskey,
Yeah.
whatever you'd hand me. Ice cream. I was working for a fancy food store, which was also a Jewish deli, so it was like a couple Reubens a week.
Yeah, sandwiches out the ass, I'm
oh
sure.
yeah,
Bread, bread.
yep,
And that's just so bad for the body. Just like it causes a lot of inflammation, and everybody's different.
Dude.
Some people
Yep.
handle it better than others, but it's definitely a recipe for disaster in the long run, I found.
absolutely. And once I started working with the Mace, I mean, I basically switched from trying to pull over 500 to I'm going to work out with 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And yeah, my body has definitely changed. Now, I also have some other things in my training now that contribute to that. And I also have a much better diet. But,
Yeah.
I am running more. I'm doing more yoga. I still do a lot of kettlebell work. And I'm doing a lot of 10-pound steel mace stuff.
Yeah. Dude,
Yep.
one of the biggest, I guess, surprises and just benefits that I've really noticed. So I tore my rotator cuff or my labrum and rotator cuff. I had surgery on that the beginning of 2016. And since then, I've just been hot and heavy on the rehab because I wanted to get back to fighting as fast as possible, and I wanted to be better than before. So I implemented like a daily hanging protocol. So I just dead hang from a pull-up bar,
Yeah.
do a pull-up grip, and then also like a chin-up grip. And I've been doing that for 2.5 years now, going on 3 years since I've been able to actually start hanging, and it's just really helped my shoulders a ton. But then also implementing this mace and also steel clubs as well, but specifically the mace,
Yep.
it's really opened up my entire shoulder girdle, right? Trying to keep that rib cage down and the core engaged, and then those elbows up, and then like that weight just really helps, and just relaxing. It's just opened up all of
Yeah.
that, dude. It feels
Yep.
so good. It's been a huge benefit.
Yeah, and you're learning to, let go for certain moments. If we're talking about a 360,
Yeah.
which is I think what you were alluding to, and you're saying like your elbow is high.
Yeah.
During that moment of, when the mace is behind you, you're trying to get your wrist grip as low as possible behind your neck. People can't see me right now, but I'm probably looking like a fool doing this with no mace in my hand.
It's fine. Nobody knows but me.
But there's a moment there where you're letting the mace and gravity improve and expand your mobility,
Yeah.
and then you're firing to bring it back over.
Right.
So you're kind of working out of this moment in time where you're not completely relaxed. You should still have a lot of tension in your body, but you're letting the mace do something for you, and then you're exploding back into position.
Yes. Yeah. You're definitely allowing the tool to do what it does. For lack of a better description, I guess. What else do you like to implement for your recovery protocol? Is there any CBD, cryotherapy, sauna, like anything like that?
CBD's definitely, that's probably a daily for me now, an absolute game changer. I like to do it orally, and there's a coconut oil based balm
Yeah.
that I apply topically as well. That's made in Ann Arbor. It's called Dory Balm. I'll go
Okay.
ahead and give a little plug for that. I'm not sponsored or anything, but Dory, reach out to me. I'd love to be sponsored.
Reach out to my guy. Well, dude, I got a sponsor, Jumbo Superfoods, who make
Oh,
the
yeah.
fucking bomb,
Yeah.
and it is the bomb.
I gotta try that stuff. I had some of the Jambo's ghee butter, and that was awesome.
Well, dude, let me fucking let you try some right now.
Oh
Dude,
shit.
dude, I use it. I travel with it. Dude, it is my fucking favorite shit. And I love Jumbo because, dude, it's all premium ingredients. It's all fucking fantastic. This is the 200 milligram with menthol.
Yep.
And if you look on the ingredients, dude, it's like it's all organic. It's all premium. It's very few ingredients. It's
Yep.
like beeswax, and I think there's some maybe ghee in there, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
coconut oil,
Yep.
and then some essential oils, and just CBD. They send everything to a third party lab, and not to hate on your Michigan one,
Oh
but
no, no.
dude, I fucking love these guys, and I first discovered them last year at Paleo FX. Like I heard about them on Joe Rogan, but I actually got to use this bomb after a jujitsu tournament. Did jujitsu, and you may know, dude, like sometimes your hands are just fucking trash afterwards.
Oh dude, especially if you're rolling in a ghee.
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's
mean,
what I did.
that's
I couldn't bend my fingers the next day.
yeah,
Applied that, could immediately bend my fingers. I'm like, I'm fucking sold, bro.
yeah.
So I put this on my shoulders and my muscles before bed. Yeah, use as much as you want, man. I fucking love it. For the folks listening, maybe I won't plug it in the beginning because I'm doing it now, but I don't know. Fuck it. While we're talking about it, it's relevant. Use the code outside. Go to jombocbd.com, code outside, save 20% off your entire order,
Oh
folks.
shit.
Yeah, man. Dude, these guys are the fucking bee's knees, man.
I'll get on that. And Dory, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna buy some of the
If
Jambo stuff. But I'll still support my Michigan business. You know, I'm always a buy local whenever possible kind of guy. But
I dig it, dude.
you know,
If you can buy local, I'm all for it too. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier with the local breweries.
Oh yeah.
You got a
Yep.
special heart for your. I mean, we don't really drink too much these days. You and I
Yep.
were talking about that,
Yep.
but you have a very special heart or a special place in your heart for Michigan beer.
Yeah, yeah. Two Hearts actually. It's the best beer in the world. It's called Bell's Two Hearted IPA. I
Yeah,
haven't had one in probably close to 3 months, but I'm sure it's still the best in the world.
I'm sure it is. I doubt it's just as good as you remember. I'm positive.
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah, there's just something I like. It just and it sometimes it just depends on the mood, dude. Sometimes, especially like during the summertime, get a nice, crisp, clean beer, and it's almost just like drinking water, dude.
Yep.
It's just so refreshing. It's like
Yep. Yep.
something about it, man. I just enjoy it. Just beer and barbecue.
Oh yeah, no, it's a beautiful combination, and again, as a Midwesterner, you know how it is. Summertime hits, and it's gets up to 50 degrees, and it's like tank tops and barbecue,
Hell
baby.
yeah, dude. That is the beauty of dealing with the suck of the winter. Like you become a little bit of a harder person in the
Yeah.
sense that you can deal with it.
Yep.
But then when it gets just a little bit nice, like here today, like it actually warmed up a little bit. But I mean, probably this morning it was in the 50s maybe, and maybe for around here it's a little chilly. But to us, we're like perfect.
I know. I saw a couple guys walking around in like parkas and
Yeah.
like goose feather coats. I'm like,
What are you guys doing? Like this is nice weather.
Yep.
Like what I don't understand it, but to us, yeah, dude, this is just money, dude. Like it's no problem at all, but it's all relative.
yep.
It is all relative, my friend. Um Is that my phone ringing? Is that your phone ringing?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
We're
Oh,
in we're in a hostel right now. It could be one of the
Oh,
neighbors.
that's my phone. Dude,
Oh.
I should have known better. I should have put this shit on Do Not Disturb, and that's what I get. So,
That's okay. I should have done it too. I don't know if anyone could hear like the random R2D2 beeps going off a little while ago.
were they
That-
going off?
Yeah, it's like that's my. I've got a couple different sounds. So like one of my best friends gets a certain R2D2 tone, and then my wife gets another. And
That's so funny. My mom has I was gonna make that up. She has special ringtones for like me and my brothers. And for some reason, I was gonna say she had one of Star Wars for my brother, but it's not. It's just like an emergency siren. Like he calls this like He's like he's the middle child. It's my younger brother. I have two little brothers I grew up with, and he was just always the accident prone one,
okay,
getting in trouble
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
bad shit seems to happen to him. So it's probably it's probably a very good tone for him.
that's funny.
That is so funny. So I got a little bit of a tangent there on CBD. So okay,
Yeah,
so CBD. How do you like to take that? Usually do it before bed. I know you mentioned the cream. Do you do it in the morning or?
Yeah, I usually do it. Like I keep a little jar of the oil stuff down in my little home gym. So it's kind of like I walk in, I walk
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like bookends a workout at home. And then it just kind of depends the rest of the time. Usually it's, around before bed,
Yeah.
sometimes in the morning. It's just kind of like whenever I look at it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
I'm not on a regimen. It's just frequent enough.
Yeah, I can dig it. Cold therapy? You do cold therapy? I mean,
I've never tried it. I'd love to
okay.
try it, but I never have.
I mean, you're right now is the perfect time. Just do it naturally. Just go outside
Oh, yeah, yeah.
or
Well,
cold showers. You ever
well,
finish on a cold
yeah,
shower?
actually, I should say I never do it because I do a cold shower every day.
Oh, so you do it.
Yeah, I was thinking like cryotherapy.
Yeah,
That's,
cryotherapy. Yeah, I guess it's like the new thing that most people go to,
yeah,
and I've done that. I enjoy it, but it's just so much easier just to get it
yep,
naturally the best way you can through.
yep.
And I think water tends to have a little bit of a different effect. Like if you
Okay,
do like a cold bath, like a soak or something compared like an ice bath compared to like doing the cryo.
yeah,
It's a little bit of a different stimulus, even though it's still the cold.
right.
Almost, I guess I would liken it to maybe like the minor difference between like a dry sauna and an infrared sauna.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? They're both
yep,
hot. They're both saunas, but they're
yep.
just a little bit different.
There's something to those red saunas, man. I don't know what it is. I did like a red yoga class one time, and I
Yeah.
walked like in the dead of winter, and I walked out feeling like I'd been in the sun all day. It was
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Yeah. Supposedly it gives you, I guess, just like a deeper sweat,
Okay.
or I don't really quite know. I do enjoy for some reason the dry sauna because like I can really feel that.
Yeah.
Like immediately, like it feels like I can feel the suck, I can feel the struggle. So I kind of like that, and maybe it's just me being a little old school. But dude, those infrareds are nice,
Yeah.
and they usually have like some of them are really big, and like you said it was in a hot yoga place.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's like the whole room in infrared
Yeah.
sauna?
Yeah.
Dude, I can only imagine
It
like
was pretty cool.
what that cost the outfit. Where is it? So that's in Ann Arbor?
Yep.
What's that place called? Plug 'em.
Red yoga.
Red Yoga. I can dig that,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, so if you're in the area, guys, go check out Red Yoga.
I should go back. I was only there a couple times. I went for like a 2-part workshop.
Yeah,
So,
that's super cool, man. That's super cool. Do you take any supplements?
not regularly enough to say that I do. During the winter time, I take vitamin D.
Yeah, do you
Uh,
pair that with like a vitamin K, or is it already mixed with it?
I don't. I
Okay.
don't. Should I?
Yeah, when you take a vitamin D, if it doesn't already have it in there, you want to pair it with a vitamin K because that's going to help the absorption.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remind me to write that down when we're done with this podcast. I don't want to forget that.
Okay.
And then, when I'm traveling, I'll take the On It Total Human Packs. If I
Yeah. I saw that earlier, actually.
and I do love the Alpha Brain, but aside from that, I don't do a ton of supplementing. I don't really do like even creatine anymore, or it's very rare that I have a protein shake.
Yeah.
I kind of got away from depending on that, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure that it's good or bad. It just is what it is. I would say that I don't notice a difference.
Yeah.
Um,
Food
so yeah,
first.
yeah,
Food should always be first, and I don't do a lot of supplements. I think I have been more recently implementing like a greens mix. I've been using this
okay,
company called First Form. They're based out of St. Louis, and they have just some of the best products on the market as far as
yeah,
I'm concerned. And I love their greens mix. And like if I do supplementation, I'll do like single ingredients. Like I'll add to that, for example, like ashwagandha, which is just a root. Or I'll add, like, I think it already has spirulina in there, but I'll add another one that I have in there because I know the one I'm adding is broken celled, so it has better absorption because I don't know if theirs does or not. And I'll also add some chlorella, and then I'll add some hemp protein. So like
okay,
all single ingredient things.
yeah,
And I don't even do that every day because again, I think food first, but I really do enjoy the green mix. I think I'm sure you get this question, what detox can I take? Or what's
oh,
the best protein to take? Or it's
yeah,
like, fuck, dude.
yeah,
Like, have you tried eating food?
right,
Have you tried maybe just adding in more greens?
yeah,
Like, there is no fucking go on a fast if you want to detox.
yeah,
Like, your body will
yeah.
naturally do that.
Yeah, people have asked me about like the juice cleanses before. That's actually one, I don't know why, but I've been asked that question a number of times. Have you
Yeah.
ever done a juice detox? What would you recommend? I've never done one, and I never will.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah, and you got to be careful with juices, man. You're removing all that fiber, and you're typically getting a
Yeah,
concentration of sugar,
yeah,
depending if you're how you're doing it. Most people tend to, lean towards the fruit juices, right? Because it
sure.
tastes good, get that mouth pleasure.
Yep, yep. But that's one of those things that I think that what happens when people go on those cleanses? Like their body, they just flush everything out, right?
That's
It
the
just it
idea.
just comes out the way it normally would. It's just a lot harder and faster, right?
I mean, essentially, yeah, you're trying to sweat out or just get rid
Yeah,
of toxins and stuff. But I mean,
yeah,
the body will naturally do that through a good fast, and you actually probably have more
right.
benefit.
For sure, for sure. And I tend to think of that as the same sort of thing as, is your workout better because you sweat a lot?
Not necessarily.
Right, right. It's
Yeah,
not. It's
no,
not.
it's not.
And it's not to say you can't sweat a lot and have a great workout, but it's not necessarily the indicator of a great workout. If you go to the
Absolutely.
gym and your trainer just kicks your ass and you're just sweating balls, soaking through every piece of clothing you're wearing, and you walk out, you might feel like, man, I got an awesome workout. My trainer just beat me up,
Yeah.
and then you're going to be sore for a couple of days. It's not necessarily an indicator that that was a healthy move.
Yeah, I hate when people use that as the marker.
Yeah.
Like, how much did I get beat up in the gym? It's like, dude, you should be able to leave this place feeling better than you came.
Yeah.
We'll probably sweat a little bit because we're gonna put a little bit of work in, but you don't have to be drenched. You don't have to be fucking dripping full of
Yep.
sweat. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's okay just to exert yourself a little bit and just feel good.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
daily practice.
I mean, the best practice is like, you should feel at least as good as when you walked in the door, um, be it like a juice cleanse, you should feel good. You shouldn't feel like shit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be like just shitting your brains out. I just don't feel like that's natural. Or you shouldn't just be sweating and sore at the gym, or, like a therapy session. Using a box of Kleenex, not necessarily an indicator that that was a good session. And,
Yeah.
maybe it is, or maybe you got a lot out of it, but you want to walk out of those things feeling like empowered.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All of those things.
It's interesting you said therapy because like I often have looked at Mace Flow as just a movement, like a moving therapy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely it can be very therapeutic for many.
And I'm glad that you said it that way, because that's actually something I think I posted about this not too long ago, about the difference between therapeutic activity and therapy. I'm sure, running in the circles we have, you've heard terms like iron therapy,
Mm-hmm.
mat therapy,
Oh yeah.
applying to like jujitsu or wrestling. Those activities are therapeutic.
Yeah.
You get a serotonin blast,
Mm-hmm.
your dopamine. You feel good. You
Yeah.
might, you might feel like you ran through the ringer,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's not the same as therapy. I've maintained that if you want to get your mind right, you really have to sit with yourself and go deep into your mind. And those activities are great. Keep doing them, but I'm not really willing to call them therapy. Just like I'm not really, and I love to flow. I love moving meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than meditation. It's different than
Yeah.
sitting with yourself.
More so therapeutic, less therapy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I like to draw that distinction, because I've seen a lot of guys who are really into jujitsu or really into various activities that they color their therapy, but
Yeah.
they're not balanced people.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like to a degree it is because it's like taking care of the body
yeah,
does help with the mind, but it can
absolutely.
also become a distraction to where you never actually sit down and deal
Yeah,
with your shit
yeah,
because you're always using it to get away.
right. And to spin it the other way, when do you feel like you have the best workouts? When you are feeling good mentally, or when you're feeling shitty mentally?
Oh, good mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. That's when
Yeah.
you feel like you're empowered. That's when you feel like you can get through every rep. Fuck, that's when you can love every rep. That's when
Yeah.
you can, take the worst rep of your least favorite exercise and still love it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you go in a crappy mood, you don't want to be there. You don't, you're grinding through it. You might quit early. You might take longer rest.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as effective. So, I think that, you're absolutely right that getting your body right can really help your mind.
Yeah.
Getting your mind right can really help your body too, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think you said something really interesting. I think some of the flip side to that is whenever you don't feel like going to that workout is it does present you with an opportunity to face challenge and struggle and to work through it and
Hmm.
then create a win.
Yes,
And then you
absolutely.
do feel good because it's like I fucking did it anyway.
Yeah.
Yes,
But I think that you've got a mental barrier to overcome, and it's
it
almost as
is.
if you need to overcome that barrier before you get to the gym. What did you guys say that guy's name was? Jocko?
Jocko Willink.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you got to get to that place where I feel like crap today. I don't want to go to the gym. Good.
Yeah, do it anyway.
Yep. Yep. Good. This is an opportunity for me to overcome.
Yeah.
And then that starts the process of overcoming.
Yeah.
Um, you got to talk to yourself. I mean, it sounds silly, but you almost got to say out loud to yourself, like, I feel like crap. I'm going to overcome this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in. And then you got to be smart about it and say that, I might not be feeling good mentally, might be connected to something physically. That might not be the day to try to PR if you're a big lifter. It
Right.
might be a good day to go in and do some really solid support work.
Right. Yeah, 100%, man.
Yep.
Like, still get something in, but like you said, it starts with your mind, right? You have
Yep.
to make a choice.
Yep.
And I'm a big believer that I really believe it really starts with the mind because once the mind is in place, then the body will follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Absolutely.
I'm so with that.
And I
That's
think,
powerful.
I know I keep taking this back to us being Midwesterners, but I think it just affects a lot of our mindset. And, seasonal affective disorder and chronic depression are real everywhere,
Dude.
all over the world.
Oh,
And
man.
we don't even have it the worst in the Midwest. We could be in Scandinavia or Norway or places where they, see the sun a few hours a day for, more
Yeah.
than half of the year.
Or
If
even like
those facts are not accurate, I'm sorry. I'm just,
well, even more home based to
yeah,
us is like Washington or Oregon, where
yeah,
it's known to be super cloudy
right.
and rates of depression are
Yep.
even higher. And
Seattle, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
dude, and it's rough, dude.
Yep.
Especially when the days are short and you don't get much sun. It's
Yeah.
fucking rough.
Yeah, and we come from a local culture of grinders. You
Yeah,
said it's,
very blue
St.
collar.
Louis is, yeah, blue collar. I mean, Detroit's the same way. These are people that get into just get into the grind. You
Yeah,
wake up, you go grind, you come home, you watch TV, you fall
yeah,
asleep. That's not putting in the work to get your mind right, to keep your body right.
yeah,
You got to come home from the grind and you got to meditate. You got to go talk to somebody, be it a coach, a therapist, a close friend, or somebody. But you got to analyze why you're doing what you're doing instead of just going around like you're on a hamster wheel. And I think that's a really easy rut for people to fall into. In my geographic region, I see a lot of it.
yeah, yeah. How do you like to get through those moments?
Um, I talk to myself.
Just the positive self talk.
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier. I got a lot of negative self talk. I've got a voice of self doubt that lives inside of me. It's part of my ego, and I've had to make peace with it. I've had to learn to love it and try to give it a different job
Yeah,
than just living in a state of fear.
yeah,
Trying to get it to live in a state of of love and kindness is a ongoing challenge. But yeah, I definitely will talk to myself a lot. So, and it's not always positive, but I try to keep a positive spin on it.
right.
And I'm not afraid to say things out loud to myself in the
Yeah.
presence of others. I do it all the time. An anecdote I told you about running and saying, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's powerful. I think that's a good place to end it, man. Just being positive, dude.
Yeah.
We've been going for about an hour, so
Oh yeah.
yeah, time just flies, doesn't it?
That went by
Jeffrey
fast.
Ochs. Well, brother, I'm gonna leave the floor to you. If there is anybody else that you wanted to plug, or obviously shout out your socials, how people can get a hold of you, follow
Yeah.
you, check you out, man. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. It's at Jeffrey.Oaks, Jeffrey .Ochs. Look for me on the Facebook, A2 Steel Fit. If you're in Michigan and you want to come check out a class, hit a2steelfit.com. Just go ahead and book a class. I'll give you the first one free. Yeah, and come check it out. I run 2 Mace classes a week and then one just general unconventional class on Saturday mornings. So, go get your drink on Friday night and come sweat it out with me Saturday morning. And yeah, Steel Mace Flow. We're doing it this weekend. I'm a certified coach. I'm happy to teach people. I'm happy to hit me up remotely. I'm going to, in the not terribly distant future, be launching a online coaching platform. So if you want to get in and help me beta test some stuff, just reach out to me on my Instagram and we'll set it up, man.
I can dig it, and I'll put this in the show notes too, so people can easily just click and get a hold of you, brother. So,
Thank you. Much
hey
appreciated.
man, this has been a fucking fantastic day. I'm glad we were able to do this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm excited for the rest of the weekend, dude. So it's all positive.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, guys. This has been like my first real podcast. So thanks for being gentle.
Right on, brother. All right, everybody. Until next time.
All right.